The Chief Technology Officer was started by the President with this administration, and the idea is to help the President and his team harness the power of data, information, and technology on behalf of the American people and the world, and we're embedded in the Office of Science Technology Policy with the President's Science Advisor.
Obama said if we use technology, there is no problem that isn't solvable. Now for somebody who's not American, maybe something German, this may sound like solutionism. So what do you base this optimism on?
Yeah, I don't think he really said use technology. He was talking about if all of us get involved and bring all of our talent and we leverage these digital tools and technologies or synthetic biology or the genome and the work on precision medicine, personalized health, the work for cancer. If we get involved with the creativity of all of us, that's more of the message. And really, here we are at South by Southwest with extraordinary artists, filmmakers, makers, coders, engineers, others who are working together, a very passionate innovation community from across the country and across the world. So what a great place to come say, how do we get to the place where we have these things that can deliver food and we've got sharing services for cars, and why don't we also include that kind of innovation on our most intractable problems? So, poverty, climate, and we can come together, and it's really that teamwork together with the technology.
Give me one or two specific examples how White House projects, and we step over this a little bit, in terms of projects, how to alleviate poverty.
Sure.
Some project that actually have something tangible that you can say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is what we're hoping to achieve.
When you bring up your phone or look at the TV, you have to see the weather, right? That weather information, that multi-billion-dollar industry, sits on top of government satellites and data like NOAA and others. Same with maps. The map on your phone or mapping sits on top of U.S. Geological Survey and others. So we've launched a project called the Opportunity Project. So if you go to opportunity.census.gov, you can find data sets that are there from Census, from the Department of Labor, from Housing and Urban Development, our most important agencies that are serving some of the poorer Americans and all Americans. And you can use those data sets, and actually on Monday last week, we launched that Opportunity Project, and there's now, at least on there, already a dozen different players, for-profits, non-profits, others, who have built services. They've either added to their existing products that they're doing, or they've built services, whether it's a great schools team with schools information, and it's about where you live. So where's Head Start near me? What about the transit to my job? So how do we help Americans have these tools to help themselves with where they live and the most basic essentials for their lives?
So the president also talked about bringing everybody together, making sure everyone participates, and that's in the country. But what about cross country? So let's talk about Canada a little bit. Are there any initiatives that the U.S. government has or is looking at with other governments, especially Canada, and what potential do you see in these kind of partnerships?
There's extraordinary partnerships around the world, and there always have been. The president started something called the Open Government Partnership early on. I think there were first a handful of countries. Now we're at over almost 70 countries have joined us. And so we just met in Mexico City. So the countries are coming and working on transparency and openness, and each country does a national action plan for that work. So we've been working on that. Part of that is civic tech, and part of it is digital gov. The president talked about the work we're doing to bring techies into our government from Silicon Valley, Austin, Boston, our tech sector, to join our extraordinary technical and policy teammates who are already there, to really bring and modernize how we're approaching our service delivery. If we can make Amazon and Facebook and Twitter, why can't we deliver government services better? And it's a movement all over the world, and we saw, of course, with the Prime Minister's visit this week, a whole conversation about the digital government work that's already happening in Canada, that's also happening here. It's happening in the UK, it's happening in Kenya, it's happening in Chile, it's happening in Mexico, it's happening in South Korea. So there's about a dozen countries. Estonia is actually the furthest ahead, kind of combining their Skype team and others from that sector who've joined great government colleagues to deliver services on behalf of Estonians. So I think you will see it in Canada, like we're doing here.
Estonia is also one of the countries that teach coding at a really early age.
Yeah, exactly. So the president has launched Computer Science for All. We really want all of our young people, kindergarten through 12th grade, to be involved in computational thinking and collaboration and coding and user interface design and data science. We talked about data science. We really could solve a lot of problems by diving into data science, whether it's in healthcare or in justice, criminal justice, or social problems or climate, all these areas.